Welcome to another episode of Whiteboard Project Management YouTube channel. As we used in this channel, we explain the tools and techniques used in the project management in a practical way. So if you are a project manager or you are interested in project management, consider subscription to the channel to get all the new videos released in this channel. In this episode, we will go through the cost management plan, tools and techniques and principles used for managing your cost in your projects. So stay connected and let's go to the whiteboard and hit start. Cost management is another knowledge area in the project management. All knowledge areas are important, and cost management are one of these most important knowledge areas. So why cost management? When you do a project as a project manager, you complete your project for the purpose. As a contractor, you are doing the project for the client to complete your work and to get benefit of the project. Means to get benefit of the money invested in your project, and you get more money than what you had invested. This is the benefit of the project for you as a contractor. As a client, definitely there will be some bring value for you because you are doing some more product or service or a result. Okay, so let's go through the whiteboard and let's explain the principles of the cost management. So when you start with your project cost management, you need to think about, as a project management, you need to think about three factors. You need to see how much money you have, you need to see how much money you have approved for this project, and you need to see your completion. So first point, you need to plan your cost management. I will write it as a shortcut. Okay, you need to plan your cost management. That means you need to plan how your cost will be managed through the project life cycle. Plan it means I'm going to put this amount of money, I will do it in this way, I will report it in that way, and explain the way how you plan to control your cost and manage your full project cost. This is simply the meaning of plan cost management. Second part, you need to determine your budget. Means determine budget. That means you need to check how much money you have available for this project. The budget, it should be the budget you have, you must have, you are checking it, and you need to determine your budget. That it is coming from cost estimation. Okay. Third part is your cost control. So the cost control means I'm controlling what I am investing, I'm controlling my money. So let's go through one by one the important parts. You plan your cost management. You are telling I am going to do it in this way. Once you planned it, you need to start determining your budget. And in order to determine your budget, you need to make your cost estimation. The cost estimation of each activity planned in the project. We said in the previous episodes, during your scope estimation or scope definition, we said that we will need to define your scope, and you need to define your project attribute, activity attribute. And in order to do that, you need to estimate the activity duration, estimate the activity resources, and. All these, time means money. So you are estimating the cost from your activities. Once you estimate the cost, you need to determine the budget. The budget, that doesn't mean that I check my estimation and my estimation is telling me that this activity cost me $10,000. That doesn't mean that I have a budget of $10,000. So when you go to cost estimation, you will go through the cost estimation methods where you have analog estimation, you have parametric estimation, you have 3 points estimation, you have bottom-up estimation. To explain it clearly, the analog estimation means I am roughly estimating this activity to be according to previous projects or according to my experience, how much this will cost. Parametric estimation is based on previous similar projects where I finished and I have some figures as actual cost, so I can estimate it from here. 3 points estimation means you have always pessimistic, optimistic, and mean value. Pessimistic means the worst, optimistic means the best, and mean value means the range in between. So if you have 3 point estimation, you have P plus O plus M over 3, or you have P plus 4M plus O over 6. Those are the 3 points estimation. This is called PERT. This is called 3 point estimation. These are both under the 3 point estimation category, and this will be our next part of explanation. Okay, let's go to another part of project estimation, which is the bottom-up estimation. Means I am estimating activity by activity and putting it all together and get the estimation of the cost. Once your cost is estimated, you are estimating the budget that I need to make it, and this budget should be submitted to your management to get it approved. Once you get it approved, then the approved budget, we call this as cost baseline. Once you have the cost baseline is the approved version of the budget. Okay, cost baseline is the approved version of the budget. Means this I have to work with the cost baseline only. As a project manager, you work only with the cost baseline. Don't work with another thing unless you have change request for changing the cost baseline. Okay, once you have the cost baseline ready and you executed your project, you need just to control your project and check your project is in cost or over cost or below cost. Keep this in your mind for the next part, and we will go in details later for each one. As a project manager, you always work with graphs. So let's hit the whiteboard and explain the estimation cost and the control account of the activities in simple graph. Here is our line. Once we estimate the cost of the activity, we have the activity cost estimation. Activity cost estimation. You have the activity, you estimated the activity, means the activity could be in tolerance more or less. So this is not an accurate estimation. You need to mention that you have a reserve to cover if the activity is costing more. You will add the reserve, which is the activity contingency reserve, in different color, which will be more clear. This is the activity cost estimation, and this is the activity contingency reserve. The contingency reserve could be added as a lump sum value or could be added as a percentage, depends on the risk of this activity. This will be defined in different episodes, the risk estimation of each activity. So I have now the cost activity estimation and the activity cost contingency reserve. Both altogether makes me a value called work package cost estimation, because you have activities and the activities are added all together with the contingency reserve to make the work package cost estimation. Again, the work package of those activities are estimated and not accurate. You need to add the other reserve, where you have it over here, which is the work package contingency reserve, because you have also risk for the work package. Altogether are the control account, and the control account means the cost baseline. This is the cost baseline where we just explained that you have the approved version of your budget. And the cost baseline means the budget at completion. Okay, but you have estimated your cost as a project manager, and you said that I am thinking that this work will cost me this much. I have activity estimation, the cost, I have the contingency reserve, I have the work package cost estimation, and I have the work package contingency reserve for the non-known risks. Those are the percentage for the known risks, the defined risks. Then you have the control account, and once you have the control account, you have the cost baseline. Okay, but your management will tell you, I have some unknown risks, because in each and every project you have known risks and you have unknown risks. For the known risks, you have just added the contingency reserve. But for the unknown risks, the management tells you, I have to add a percentage, or if the management doesn't tell you, you have to tell the management, what are my contingency reserves for the management, for the unknown risks which could appear during the project. So you have over here, you have the management contingency reserve. And all together with the management contingency reserve and the cost baseline, this is the project cost estimation. So the management will consider this amount of cost will be in this project. The figures are clear. As a project manager, you are checking this amount and this amount. This is for the known risks. This is for the unknown risks. Those are the contingency reserves, and once you start taking from the contingency reserve, you need to monitor those figures. Once we clarified this in a block diagram, let's clarify it in simple graph diagram. So I'm going to leave this block so you can compare all together. If we have the project with finishing in this time and this cost, so let me first make the lines of the project. This is the cost and this is the cost here. Okay? During the project, the cost will be increased one activity after one. So if you combine all activities together, so it's a sum of activities and sum of different costs. So this will be as an S-curve of the activity. So the S-curve of the activity should finish in time and in budget. What is your project budget? The project budget is the approved version of the project, and you have the cost baseline is the approved version of the budget. So the cost baseline, this is the cost and this is the time. I'm going to finish this project in budget and in time, means I have to plan to finish in this point where I have the time finish and the cost. In between I have an S-curve. Let me show it clearly so you can see it as an S-curve. Okay, so this is the budget at completion, BAC. Save this in your head because we are going to talk a lot of BAC. Budget at completion. This is the budget at completion. This we said this is the management reserve. So this is the management reserve, and my contract I should make some benefit of the contract. So I should make some profit. The profit will be always an amount over what I had spent. And if I am spending this amount with the contingency reserve, the cost of the contract should not be less than this total amount. Otherwise, the contract or the full project will be failed because we are over budget. So the contract amount will be somewhere here. Contract amount. And for you as a project manager, if you complete your project on budget, you have all this amount as profit. But if some risks occurred during your project and you have unknown risks which were non-defined, then you spent all your management reserve and your profit will be only this part. P2. Let me call it P1 and P2. So once you are defining P1 and P2 at the beginning of the project, means the management is saying, okay, at the beginning of the project, I'm estimating that my project will finish, my profit will finish in between these two values. But that doesn't mean for you as a project manager that you have the tolerance. For you as a project manager, you should work only for the budget at completion. You work only for the cost baseline. Once you are facing any unestimated risk, you should not go to take it from your management reserve, because management reserve is not under your control. Management reserve is under the top management control. You request the top management for adding more money to the project. Once they approve it, they feed you with the money to your project. You make an internal change order and you change the cost baseline from baseline 1 to baseline 2. Then you are setting your budget at completion from budget at completion baseline 1 to budget at completion baseline 2, and you are changing your profit from P1 to another P2 or in between part. So as a project manager, you must work only with the cost baseline, with the budget at completion according to your cost baseline. Okay, let's go to the profit, and let's put some figures over here so it will be clear for you for the cost. So if I'm saying that my contract is $10,000, my budget at completion is $8,000, means P1 is 2,000, and I'm saying that my management reserve is up to 1,500. If this is 1,500, that means P2 is 500 only US dollars. Means, in another way, the management will consider if there is no unknown risks occurred, my profit will be 2,000 US dollars. But if there is an unknown risk occurred, I will start taking from this 1,500 as a budget, a side budget, and my profit will be only 500. So the management is telling you, I have some money reserved, but you cannot take it unless the change order is submitted and it's approved because of unknown risks. For you as a project manager, you work on the budget at completion and you try your maximum to end not even in budget, but below budget and in time. Means I want to work and finish over here in time, but below budget, because you are estimating and you have some reserves of the activity and the work package. So you are taking, and you should not be over these activities and over these contingency reserves. Otherwise, you will end up with being over budget. Thank you for watching this episode and for choosing Whiteboard Project Management as your educational platform. See you in the next episodes.